Yo, what's good, everybody? Happy Sunday, happy Sunday. Let me connect my headphones. Happy Sunday. All right, let's finish the week off really good. We've had a good month so far. This is the last, 4 days of the month. And Friday, we start a new month. So let's kick it off with earnings this week. As you see, Monday we have Unity, Zoom after the close, Car Gurus. Those are pretty much what I'd be looking at on those there. Before the open on Tuesday, I do like uh, Lowe's, Norwegian Cruise Lines, Lending Tree, and Macy's. I'd like to see what all those do, just because I own Macy's from back like in 2010. After the close, Beyond Meat, I'd like to see what they do for sure. Lemonade, I always like to see what Lemonade does, and First Solar with everything going solar basically. Wednesday, what do I like? I like Snowflake, CRM, AI, Okta. That's what I'm looking for. You could look for TJ Maxx for before the open, maybe for a move, but really those right there are my top. Snowflake, CRM, AI, and Okta. Thursday, Thursday. I like Dell, Autodesk, and NetApp. That's what I'll be looking for on Thursday. Friday, before the open, we'd like to see Plug, see what they do for a move. Other than that, I'm really not looking at anything else. But as you see, it's not that big of a earnings this week, but something always to take a look at if you trade smaller caps. These are more of the smaller caps that you would see. All right, let's get into economic calendar for this week. So as you see, Monday, 10 a.m., we have new home sales. So if you want to wait until after this data on 10 o'clock on Monday, I suggest you do, unless you find a nice move at 9:30, between 9:30 and 10. But I'm most likely going to wait until this 10 o'clock unless I find something. Tuesday, consumer confidence at 10 o'clock in the morning. So as you know, Monday, new home sales. Tuesday, consumer confidence. This is pretty big. Wednesday, you're going to have the data basically come out before the market opens. So you have wholesale inventory, retail inventories, and things like that. The Fed talk on Wednesday at 12 p.m., it'll move the market, but not as much as you would react to it like if it was Powell or somebody else. Thursday, tons of data. You have initial jobless claims, PCE, the core PCE, the Chicago PMI, pending home sales, and Feds talking. So Thursday is the biggest day. I suggest if you already made your money, if you don't like trading with data or when there's a lot of things going on, you could take the back seat on Thursday and wait. But most of this data, as you see, is at 8:30 in the morning. You have Chicago PMI at 9:45, and then home sales at 10. So I would highly recommend either to wait until after 10 o'clock or not trade that day. It's really up to you. Depends on how you're doing it. But I'm most likely going to wait for a trade until 10 o'clock. Friday, PMI, construction spending, consumer sentiment final. All after the market opens. So again, for these, I would suggest either you wait until after this data drops, um, or just take the Friday off as well, because you have a good amount of Fed speaking as well. You have Dallas, you have the Fed Governor Chris Waller speaking at 10:15 both, and then Atlanta Fed President speaking and San Francisco speaking at 1:30, and it's the beginning of the month, so things could probably move a little bit there. So that's what we have so far this week. Let's get straight into the charts. Let's start off with SPY. Let's go over the weekly first and see where we're at weekly. As you saw, these were all-time previous highs back here on SPY. Again, we cracked those about January 16th, around there, and we haven't really looked back since. It's about $80 of a move. I mean, excuse me, $20 of a move, 25. So, in the longer term, if you're looking to buy some shares, look for a pullback into this 480 to 460. Anywhere here would be a nice buy zone for a long term. So anywhere here, 480 to 460. Now, as you see here on the daily, we're getting this gap here, and that's in between the psychological level of 500. As you see already, some rejection up here at this 510 psychological area. It most likely correlates with SPX 5100. Let's look for the 4 hour. As you see, it already starting to curl, but we do have some support here at this 503. Let's call it 504 to keep things round. Let's call it 504. Basically down to 500. On the 4 hour, and you have that resistance at that 510. Let's look down on the 1 hour so you can get some levels to day trade. So we would like a break and hold above this 510 to come down and retest this 510 for a move back up into this 415. Let me see if I could change this and move it so you can see the 415. For a move up into that 415 up here. If not, if that does not happen, and we see a pop, fail the highs, come down into this 400, into this 504, I would like to see a confirmation of a hold, so we could get a move back up into this 505. If not, I would definitely take the 500 bounce down here. So for it to come down all the way here and bounce up to this 504 area. So for the downside, honestly, it needs to break 500. So it needs to come down here, do whatever it needs to do, come down, retest 500, and then come down back into this 494. So break and hold below 500 would be a move down, but you remember we do have an area down here at 498.5 that was used throughout the whole week. This whole area down here that was used to bounce. Huge zone here, so basically a break and hold below 500 down into that 498.5, and if it breaks 498.5, then look for a move down into that 494. So again, I'll go over the levels just so you could have them. 500 bounce, this whole zone here for a longer term. If you're looking just to buy some shares, break and hold above 510. That's what we're looking for on SPY. And if we break and hold below 500, keep a tight stop until 498.5. And then if it breaks that, you have room into this 494. Or unless we bounce here at 500 and move back up to that 505. Now let's look at QQQ. Let's look at the weekly, see where we're at. As you saw, these were all-time highs up here at this 410. We haven't really come down to retest it as one would like. This 410, 400 area. As you see, we kind of did here. But after the move of officially breaking above it and holding it, we haven't really come back down. So what are we going to do here? Let's mark that 441, which is the line in the sand, for a move up higher. And we do notice that we have a gap here as well at that 430 psychological level as well, down into this 425. So we have a gap from 435 to 425. That's a $10 gap right there. So let's move over to the 4-hour. There is definitely some support here at this 430. I'll mark it here for you guys. So what are we looking for here on the Qs? We are looking for Q to either break and hold above 441, test it for a move back up to this 445, excuse me, up into this area 445. If that doesn't happen, we would like to see the Qs come down, test this 430 for a move back up into this 435. If not, if it does not hold 430 and it comes down and breaks it, we want to see it retest this, reject, come down to this 425. That way it'll fill that gap right there. And as you see, you do have a nice area, a lot of reactions at this level on the 1 hour, and that is where you fill the gap as well. This right here is pretty much that gap, this wick. So you would have it fill that gap right there, and you have, if it does break and hold below 430, you have room to that 425, and it could react back above, and you would need to see it react at this 430, either break and hold above it, or it's going to reject it again and it's going to come down to this 418, 415. And if it does that, then eventually we will finally see that retest of the 400, which I would definitely take for a bounce. This whole area down here would be really good for an add-on long term. All right, now instead of going through Tesla, which I usually do, we're gonna go through Nvidia. This is more of a momentum this year for sure. Tesla, I love it. I trade it pretty much every day, but we're gonna go through Nvidia. Excuse me. So what I see on Nvidia, we are approaching this 1,000 huge psychological level. I believe we're gonna reach that this year. I don't see no reason why we don't this year. But what we're gonna look for is, as you see, like it's trending. It's definitely an uptrend. Line on the sand for the upside on Nvidia is this right here, 830. That 830 is the line in the sand for a move up higher. We do have a gap from this 740 to 688 on the daily. Now that is due to earnings. That's what that gap happened when Nvidia had its earnings. So people are looking for a pullback into those earnings for a move higher for sure. But we do have a lot of areas that we would need to break. As you see, we already failed that 830 and starting to come down. This 750 is a psychological area, and as you see, it was an area where a lot of resistance came in, and we didn't really crack it until, let's see, that is more than a week, so about 2 weeks until we finally got above it. So that 750, we would like to see Nvidia come down to that 750 for sure for a bounce. Ideally, we do love this 700 to 705 area for a bounce, and I'll show you why. So this 700 is down here, 705. That whole area right there, as you see those touches right here, came down. Is a decent reaction right here. Came up, a lot of noise, came up, retested it, came back up into this zone from 700 to 750, broke below it. As you see, it reacted here off of it as well, broke below it, used it as resistance, came back down, and then popped above it with earnings, and we haven't tested it since. So that right there, it's right in between that earnings gap that happened. So that's a great level to grab some calls for a nice move back up to the upside. And if you do like trading with fibs, if you grab that move there, you're pretty much in that golden zone right here. That's 715 down here. It's a nice little zone, and if you bring it even tighter, just that candle alone, it's that 50% retracement area between 50 and that 38 retracement. And of course, if you get even lower to that 680, why not buy down here? I mean, I don't see Nvidia going below 650 anytime soon, but that's a huge area of discount. All right, so what we're going to look for on a day trade, in a sense, is for Nvidia to come down into this 750 down here. See how we react to the 750 for a move back up higher to this 775. Of course, you would always start trimming out on the way up. If that does not happen and Nvidia fails the 750, we need to see it break below 740 and then come up, retest it, and then come back down and break 740 again, all the way to get a move down into this 725, 730 even. Play it by the tens on Nvidia, the way it's been moving. And of course, if that happens, then you will most likely get this 700 retest. And once that happens, I believe, if that happens, it'll be a skyrocket with a lot of buyers stuck here looking to buy for a huge discount. Or if we get Nvidia to break and hold above 830, have it come down and retest that area, and then move up to this 850. That would be my last target. If we break and hold above 830, I would like to see a push to that 835, come back down to 830, show that it's holding it, and then take it for a move up higher. So that's pretty much what we're looking at. Let's look at, we'll look at one stock from earnings. Let's look at Snow. And see what we have. Here's the weekly. Let's delete the drawings. So as you see, Snow weekly, we are at some resistance up here at this 247 to 250 area. It's huge resistance there. As you see, last time I touched it, it just went down to all-time lows. So we're approaching that level now, 247 to 250, that little zone there. These two candles here representing of a pause of this cup that's trying to form. So that little pause and then the wicks below it from the weekly is a good sign that we do have more room to go up higher. So that's that cup and handle that a lot of people look for. Let's look on the daily. Daily is pretty much the same thing. You got this hammer candle here, and it popped up, showing some resistance at this 240. So what we would look at is for Snow to have a move come into this 247, 250, see how we react, or just if we start seeing weakness, take the reject down to this 240. If not, we like to see snow come below this 220 for a move down into this 215, 210 area. And then eventually it'll fill this 200 right here. So I'll draw that better for you guys. So here's the 220 level right there. So we would like to see snow come down, test this level here, that 220 again, and then come down to that 200 for a move back higher. For a move higher, we would need snow to go up above 247, 250. So basically that 250, come back down, retest 250, 247 area for a move back up higher to that 260. So that's what you have there. That reject here from that 247, 250, any signs of weakness to come down and retest these highs at 240, or a break and hold above 250, retest it for a move back up into that 260. For the downside, we would need it to break 220, see it come down, start to react at this 215 or 213 area, come back up, reject 220 again, and then you could start looking for shorts once it rejects that 220 again. And then you could leave a runner to see if it breaks that 210, and if it does, take profit on that runner down at that 200 level, 205 area, and then you could definitely flip long at that 200. So that's what we got so far this week. I hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you during the week to trade this week again. Let's finish this month strong. We have just 4 more days of this month to trade. Friday is a new month, and let's go. Let's keep the momentum going. We've been green so far, and I hope you learn. Hope you have any questions. Just put it up on those comments. Like and subscribe. Thanks for joining, everybody. See ya.